Hi, thanks for watching my lesson. This one is going to be on the song Lover You Should Have Come Over by Jeff Buckley. A really beautiful song from the 1994 album Grace, which was sadly the only album Jeff Buckley ever did. A real sort of cult classic album. Apparently wasn't particularly successful at the time of its release, but now is very much appreciated. This is my personal favourite song on that album, and I think it's one of my, if you had to do a top 10, it would be in there, top 20 maybe. Certainly one of the greatest male vocals I've ever heard, and the singing over the outro is brilliant. Lots of chords, lots of parts to it, so fairly complicated in that sense. I'm just going to go through it in order from start to finish, and I'll put all the chords up on my Patreon page and a song sheet and stuff, tabs for the outro, riff and whatever. So let's get stuck into it. So the song starts with the organ playing, so I did a little bit of that at the beginning, so I'm going to look at that really quickly now for those who want to play it. And all I did for that was essentially this. So once more. So we're starting off on the D string. We're going 4-2 open. Then we're hammering on 2-5 on the A string. And then playing 2 on the D again, open G, and then 4 on the D. And then 5 on the A, 4 on the D. And then we're going, which is on B string, so we're going 3, 5, 7, 10. And I think I hit that open G when I did the 10, so. And then a D triad up there, which is just 11 on the G, 10, 10 on the B and the E. And that's if you just want a little bit of an intro. You can just go straight into the chords. I'm not going to discuss the strumming patterns too much as ever because it's got a nice flow to it. It's fairly easy to work out. It's a little bit free form as well, so you don't need to worry too much. Plus I think there's an acoustic guitar which is doing a slightly different strumming pattern going on behind it. So I'll just play it slowly and you can get the idea. So we start off with the verse, and it starts off with a D chord. Actually starts off with a D sus chord, so basic D but with the open E string, and then straight away you're hammering on to a normal D. So that's the first run through. So what I've done there is I'm hammering on the D sus to the D. A couple of up strums there. And then do that hammer on again. C, but it's a slightly different C because we're going to have, it's a normal C shape, but our little finger is going to be holding the G note on the high E, so 3rd fret. And we're going to try and hit that on an up strum if we can. And then we're going to go straight to an E minor add 9. Well, there's going to be a few variations of this chord in the song, but this is an E minor add 9. So your basic E minor, and then ring finger on the 2nd fret of the E string. And then a normal E, so we're taking that finger off. And then we're doing an E minor 7. So E minor again, but this time ring or little finger on the 3rd fret of the B string, back to an E minor. So a couple of D sus's and D's here. C, that variation, and then E minor add 9, E minor, E minor 7, once more. And then repeat that whole sequence. I would attempt to sing bits of this, but that would be sacrilegious trying to copy Jeff Buckley. But see what I mean? You don't want to listen to that, do you? Right, so that's it. So play that through twice. And then we get to this little bit, which is a really cool little fill. And then back to the D. Repeat that bit. So what we did there, we went. So a little run up, 2, 3, 4 on the A string, and then 2 on the D, and then open G, open E. And then we're playing 2 on the low E, to 2 on the D, and then 3 on the G, 3 on the B. Very quick B minor, just one strum. Straight to a D, downstroke, and then up. When we do the up, we're going to do a D sus4, which means our ring finger's coming down on the 3rd fret of the E string. Down strum again, and this time back to the normal D. Put that all together. Couple of strums on a D, and then go to a G chord. And then we go right back to the start and repeat that, the D and the D sus2s. So I'm going to play through the whole of the first verse, put that all together. Incidentally, if you're not quite ready for like the fills and you'd rather strum it, so coming off of that we'd go. So what I did there was, rather than doing the fill, I did the, I played a C sharp minor 7 flat 5, or a C sharp half diminished, which I don't think I have put in my chord sheet. Hopefully I'll put a little diagram up here. If not, it's essentially 4 on the A string, 5 on the D string, 4 on the G string, 5 on the B string. And then an F sharp, which is, again, if I don't put it up there, it's basically an E, slide up twice, bar the 2nd fret. But I'd recommend playing that just because it sounds good. Sounds great. So we've gone through that cycle. I'm going to put it all together, and then I'll play through the next bit because it changes after that slightly. So from the off, after the organ intro. So we repeated that a little bit in the, again with the Ds, the C and the various E minors. Then we're going to play that sequence again twice because we're starting the 2nd verse now. So we're going to come straight in, having just played the... we'll do it again and the 2nd verse vocal start. So that 2nd verse starts off exactly the same until we get to the fill bit, and then we're changing it slightly. So what we did there is, rather than going B minor, D, G, and holding that G until we start again, this time that G is going to transition to an F sharp. So that's from the fill, so 2nd verse fill. for that F sharp, down strum, and then 2 quick down ups. And then we change to, I can't remember if this is bridge, or whatever you'd call it, the chorus. Let's call it the bridge for argument's sake. This is a bit where the lyrics start saying, sometimes a man gets carried away. So after we've done the F sharp, we're going to go to a B minor. I'm just going to go B minor, E minor 3 times. Gets carried away when it feels like it should be having its fun. Much too blind to see damage is done. So 3 times B minor, E, strumming pattern. So after we've done that 3 times, we're then going to go to a C, and it's going to be a normal C, so we're not going to be holding that G note anymore. That's how long we played a C for. I'm going to come off that to an E minor. We're going to play that little sequence. So we're just 3 strums on each of the variations. Again, they're just E minors for the most part. Starting off with a normal E minor, and then a different type of E minor add 9. This one's going to be first finger on the 2nd fret of the B string, and the little finger, or the ring finger, whichever you're more comfortable with, on the 4th fret of the D string. So. Then we're going to play a different variation of an E minor 7. So this one again, just holding the 2nd fret of the B string, and this time we're going to be holding the 3rd fret of the 2nd fret of the A string, 3rd fret of the B string, which is a different type of E minor 7. So we got, and then this funny chord, which is a D diminished with an F in the bass, I believe. And that, to do that, we want to bar the 1st fret. So 1, 1, 1, 1. We're only playing the D, G, B and E strings. And we want little finger on the 3rd fret of the B string and ring finger on the 3rd fret of the D string. So put them all together. And then we're going to move to what I'm going to call the chorus, which is also the outro, which is where you start to get these really cool open chord shapes coming up the neck. But before I do that, let me just recap that 2nd verse and the bridge. So. That's it. So now we're on to our chorus. Let's stick with chorus, shall we? Notice that the strumming, I'm not sticking to a constant pattern, and quite often he's utilising just hitting all the open strings in between chords if you're struggling with some of the changes. And I'm guessing if you're trying to learn this, you're relatively proficient. So now we've got lots of, and I'm going to have to bring up some of the names here because I've forgotten. So now we've got lots of these chords with open strings coming up the neck. So they've got some funny names that you might not be used to. And we're going to start off with a relatively simple one. We're going to start off with a D with an F sharp in the bass. So if you can use your thumb, just hold a D and then bring the thumb over to hold the second fret on the E string, the low E string. If you can't, you've got to rejig your fingers and do it like that. Up to you. Like I said, chord diagrams on Patreon and hopefully on the screen. It's that kind of strumming pattern we want for these first few chords. So I'll play it through once quickly for you. So. So that's going to be your chorus, and at the end of the song we're just going to keep repeating that minus the end bit. So D with an F sharp in the bass, and we want kind of so down, a couple of up strums, that kind of hitting that bass note separately. I'm not strumming everything every time. And this is a G minor 6. So imagine your G, if you're holding it like that, and you're muting the A string, and you've got the 3rd fret on the B and the E. If you just move those two up, so 3rd fret is now on the G and the B. It's a G minor 6. We then go up to an A add 9, which is a bar chord A, a basic E-shaped bar chord up here. But we're keeping the B and E open. So again, use your finger or your thumb, but make sure these are open. So repeat that strumming pattern twice on each one. This weird chord, which I think is called a G6 with a B in the bass. And all I'm doing is holding the 7th fret on the low E string and muting the A string and playing everything else. And then we're going up to a, what's this one called? This is an A add 9 with a C sharp in the bass. So 9th fret on the E string, mute the A, 7th fret on the D string, 9th fret on the G string, open B and E. So it's been the same strumming pattern twice up to this point for all of the chords. We're then changing to a C major 7, and we're just going to do that once, that strumming pattern, and that's going to be 8th fret on the low E, mute the A, 9, 9 on the D and the G, again, open B and E. So after that C major 7, we're going to do one strumming pattern on this chord, which is a B minor add 11. So 7, mute, 7, 7, open, open. And then we're going to run down to this. All chords we played before, so we're going back to the A add 9 with the C sharp in the bass. We're only playing those once, and then coming up, so kind of. A add 9, C sharp in the bass, back to your G6 with B in the bass, back to your A add 9. And now this is just an F sharp minor, where I'm not playing the B and the E at all. So it's just 2, 4, 4, 4. So you can bar it like that and just play the lower notes, or you can use your thumb to hold the 2nd fret on the low E and just avoid these two. If you do play them, it's not the end of the world, whether they're barred or not. So. And then an E minor. So. And then back to that original E minor add 9 that we did with the 2nd fret on the E string. The high E. Minor, back to an E minor 7. Again, this E minor 7 being the more normal one. 2, 2 on the A and the B, A and the D, and then 3 on the B. So. Finish on a D, do the D to the D sus 4, back to a D. Top, and then back to what we did for the first two verses, which is your E minor add 9, E minor, E minor 7, E minor. So putting that all together. After I came off the C major 7 there, I played that G6 with the B in the bass as opposed to the B minor add 11. Should have been. Anyway, it's all there. Rewind if you need to. So yeah. Just be wary of that. I mean, they're fairly interchangeable. They're both essentially B minor chords at the end of the day. So that's the chorus. That's covered all the chords with one exception, and that is the 3rd verse, which goes on a little bit longer and has a slight variation as it transitions back into the outro. So I'm going to try and do that before my camera runs out and I need to reset it. So let's just play it through. So from 3rd verse, and we just come off the chorus. So. The difference between this 3rd verse and the other two is also that this sequence that I'm playing here, I think it repeats 4 or 5 times. So imagine you've played that as many times as you need to. You have to listen to the song a bit or look at my chord sheet, song sheet. Then we go to the fill. And that's the difference. So what we've done there is after the fill, exactly the same up to that point. We're on our G. We're then going to go back to that G minor 6 that we did earlier, if you remember. 3 and then 3 and 3 on the G and the B's, and we're going to do 6 kind of triplet strums for that. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. If that was 6, so from the fill again. Key there is we're starting each alternate bar with an up strum because we're just keeping that going. That's what you want. And then we're starting those chorus chords again. So after the 4 E minors, then you're going back into the D with the F sharp and the bass. So just repeat that sequence, I think 3 times. Yeah, so repeat that sequence 3 times. And this is where you've got this got really amazing vocal coming in, but you've also got really cool lead guitar coming in, which I'm going to teach you now. Just trying to think if there's any more chords or bits we've missed. So we covered the first verse, second verse, bridge, chorus, third verse, which goes on a bit longer, and then transitions into the outro by way of the G minor 6. Oh, the ending. So yeah, so the last time that we've done this, so we're going to come off of this. So last time we're going to go into a D, do the D to the D sus4, back to the D thing, do our different version of the C with the G in the on the top, on the high E string, 3rd fret, and then finish with that version of the E minor add 9, which is just E minor with the 2nd fret, high E string. And that's it. Beautiful song over. Even though I said I wanted to keep this lesson a bit shorter, I'm going to run through a couple of those outro sequences just so you know how they relate to each other, and then I'll go into that ending as well. So. One last little technical point. When you're doing a D with the F sharp in the bass, it's quite easy to not mute the A, and that would sound bad. So always try and get your thumb over and mute that A, or if you're doing it this way, it should mute naturally, but we want that A string not to sound out. Yeah, that's it. So last but not least, if you're still here, let's look at the lead thing. So basically that is going to be, probably put my guitar out of focus. That's going to be, what is it going to be? I can't remember. Oh yeah, so it's going to start, I'll play it through. So. chord progressions. So start off with 2nd fret on the low E string, come up to 5 on the A string, and then 2, 3 on the low E, and then open A, 1 on the A, back to open on the A, back to 3 on the low E, so far. And we want 2 on the E, 5 on the E, 5 on the A, 2 on the A, back to 5 on the A, and then 5 on the D. Pick the 5 on the D again and slide up to the 7. So, then 4 on the A, 2 on the D, 2 on the G. Pick the 2 again. Slide up to 4 on the G, and then we want an open E to finish, and then 5 on the A, 4 on the A, 2 on the A, open on the A, 2 on the F sharp, and then it's a slightly tricky move, playing the 2 on the F sharp again, and then very quickly playing the lower 3 notes of an E minor. So open 2 2, open 2 2. So very slowly. It just repeats that. The timing as it comes out towards the end of that, you'll have to listen out for that and listen to the record. Kind of speeds up. And that's your lot. Yeah, hope that's helped. Beautiful song, lovely song, really interesting guitar chords, really fun to play. Jeff Buckley, eh? A tragedy. Imagine all the brilliant songs he would have written for us. Any questions, let me know, and I'll see you for the next one. Cheers.